All right, so we back. Pernell Bills, Joshua Dorn, Sports Hungry Pod, the Battleground. All right, so we got a few things we're gonna run through today, and we just hope you guys see what we see. If you don't, I mean, I'm up. I mean, we love debating, man. I mean, at the end of the day, if you message us on IG or whatnot, we're gonna respond right back to you, and we're gonna give you
Indeed.
our thoughts. And so, and thing is, we ain't gonna knock you for your thoughts. We just gonna give you ours, and hopefully, you understand where we're coming from, our perspective. But
I'm gonna knock
again,
you a little bit.
you gonna knock them. Oh my god, bro! Look,
Just a little bit.
hey, ain't gonna lie though. When we said that, talk about old Quentin Johnson, boy, we got
Oh, I ain't gonna hold you. Just about every person that I said that to agreed. They were
yeah,
like, "Yeah, okay, all right."
yeah,
I'm gonna tell
yeah.
you that. Even my kids say yeah. Even my kids said that.
And that's the issue. Like the Chargers made the worst. It's not. I ain't gonna say it's the worst decision, but when you look at the numbers between Zay and Quentin Johnson, you know who messed up. But this is why we got the NFL draft preview, and right now we're only going to talk about the quarterbacks to get started. So the quarterbacks, and then we have the NFL Combine aspect of it, NFL Combine or the Pro Day, what's most important. We got Shanahan, bonehead moves, left and right. He done pulled somebody over the fire because he didn't like him already. We got let's see, what are the Bears gonna do next? The Bears at 1, they got a big decision to make. Where's Justin Fields gonna land if they make whatever decision they do make? And then last but not least, we're gonna talk about these quarterbacks. Who's next on the list to win a chip? So let's go and get it. So first and foremost, quarterbacks. Are they the most valuable position in this year's draft, in your opinion?
Oh, in this year's draft,
This year's draft.
probably yeah. There's a lot of desperate teams this year. Chicago, Denver, the Philly. I mean, not Philly. The Patriots. There's so many teams that they kind of need a guy right now. Shoot, Pittsburgh needs a guy, but there's so many teams that need a guy to just really more or less put them over the hump. And I'm not even saying that that's going to happen this upcoming year, but they could help eventually. Some could help this year.
Yeah. I see what you're getting at. Do I think it's the most valuable position? Depends on the team. Because you can end up in getting a Bryce Young where he's a good quarterback, but he's probably in the wrong situation because the team doesn't have anything around him. This is the same reason why DJ left and went to the Bears. So it was just because there's nothing there. So you're starting from the ground up. And if you're going to start from the ground up, your best bet is not to get yourself a quarterback that weighs barely 200 pounds or underneath 6 or behind a terrible offensive line, terrible defense, no receivers, and be like, why ain't you doing anything like C.J. Stroud? I ain't got nobody. This is why Cam Newton's out the league. Cam Newton had to run so much because you ain't got nobody. Nobody's blocking for him. So I think the most valuable position is just based off of team. And so let's say like if you're going after Caleb Williams, that's a good pickup because he has the size. However, your expectations shouldn't be as, oh, he's the next Patrick Mahomes, because let's be honest, none of y'all graded him out as the next Patrick Mahomes. You didn't grade Patrick Mahomes as Patrick Mahomes.
And Patrick came into a wonderful situation.
You get what I'm saying? So like if you're gonna say he's the next Patrick Mahomes, let's try not to say the next Patrick Mahomes. Let's just say he's gonna be Caleb Williams. And can he do the same thing? Well, Caleb Williams doesn't have Andy Reid. Let's put that also out there. Andy Reid has not.
He don't have Travis Kelce. He don't have Tyreek Hill.
Nothing.
Or Kareem Hunt.
No, you can put Kareem Hunt in there as well. You could definitely put Kareem Hunt in there.
I was just thinking of his running back situation. They actually are pretty solid.
But even in the running back situation, they always had like 1, 2, 3 different running backs that can offset. You got a speed guy. They always keep a speed guy on the team. Even when Andy Reid was with Philly, Deshaun Jackson, speed guy. Jeremy Maclin, he keeps a set of receivers, bro. Like he just keeps his sets of receivers, bro. Even with you go back to Terrell Owens, same situation. Like Terrell Owens may not look like the fastest, but Buddy can get up. So and he always keeps a tight end with him. Always keeps that.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams doesn't. He doesn't have any of that situation because if you had that in Chicago, Justin Fields probably wouldn't be having a hard time like he is. That's
I
just
don't
my
know.
opinion.
Them coaches that they had in Chicago was trash.
Yeah.
Outside of Lovey, they're pretty cool.
This goes back to that thinking the grass is greener on the other side. When at this point, Lovey's the most consistent thing you've had, and Lovey hasn't been with the Bears in almost over a decade now, and it's been
Almost.
him. Yeah, because he was already he took a stint with the Bucks, he took a stint with Illinois. I don't know where Lovey is at now, but at the end of the day, like
I
he's
think
the
he's
best.
DC or somewhere.
So
Something like
I
that.
don't know how you see it, or I don't know how you feel about it, but let's say you're Drake May going into Washington. I don't think Washington's a terrible situation. In my opinion.
Not at all. I mean, for Washington, you got new owners, new expectations. You have a lot of cap space. And so you still have some good defensive pieces, but some of them defensive pieces don't want to be a part of a rebuild. So that's the only thing about it. But see, you got Terry McLaurin under deal. You can pay Curtis pretty cheap. Your running back is cheap because this is only his second year or third year. And either way, you know how they pay running back. So he'll be fine. His O-line is getting better. So only thing you really got to pay for at this point is a defense. And with the coach that you got, I don't really see that being an issue. So
it's a definitely like Washington has the ability to possibly be a team that makes the leap. The other team out there that's talking about picking up a quarterback, and again, I don't know how valuable this might be. It's valuable for them, but for his situation, he got to hope there's pieces that they bring in. Jaden Daniels, LSU, and they have him pegged for the Patriots. Is that a good fit with the Patriots that we see today?
I've been hearing a lot of talks, and I have read some things. A lot of people actually are starting to like Jaden a little bit more than Drake. Personally, I haven't seen a lot of Drake, even though I have seen a lot of Jaden. Personally, as a Florida fan, I've seen him carve us up with both his legs and arm. The kid has poise. So do I think he could survive in New England? Probably.
In the cold?
Yeah, I probably could. He's a solid body kid. I don't think he would. If Tom Brady could do it, he of all people could do it. Of course, you're going to have a totally different offense than what we've seen from New England recently.
100%.
So I would assume, what's his name? I forgot the coach's name.
Is it Mayo? Not Mayo.
Yeah, Gerard Mayo. I'm pretty sure he's going to take a little bit of chip off the old block. So he's going to pretty much put in a run game, have his quarterback not do too much, rely on his defense. The defense is still good. And he was really the defensive coordinator for the team. So I'm pretty sure he'll keep that going and let his OC handle that.
I mean, that's the best. That's the best thing you could do for a young quarterback.
Yeah,
like
I really don't think they're going to ask so much of him.
Yeah, because you throw him in the fire for what reason? I mean, at the end of the day, this is the NFL, and just like what Carmelo Anthony was trying to explain to people, the difference between a regular average Joe on the court or a dude in college and the NBA, it's the same situation when it comes to college and the NFL. Like the game might seem the same because you know football,
totally different.
The mental aspect of the game is so different, and when players get the mental part right, the game moves so much faster for them. Like the game slows down for them, but they start to move a lot faster against everybody else.
Yeah.
This is why Patrick Mahomes is rolling. The mental aspect is there already. So he's like, everything I do, you guys are already 3 or 4, 5 steps behind me. It doesn't take me long to get used to what the NFL game is. Daniels going to the Patriots, I don't have an issue with him going to the Patriots as long as they offer that run game. Give him the run game.
You're gonna need some weapons.
Yeah. You definitely need some weapons. So, but this also goes back to: do you stick in that pick, or do you fall back? Because let's say you fall back instead of drafting him one, and you fall back, trade down and add a few pieces. So you get instead of drafting at 3, instead of drafting at 3, let's say you trade back, you draft at 10, maybe 12, and you add another second. or you add another third.
Who's your quarterback?
In that case, if you're looking for a quarterback, you go get yourself a vet. You get yourself a vet to be that.
There's only so few.
You're right. There's only so few.
At this point, you can't get a bridge because you're gonna have to pay somebody. You're gonna have to pay them. You're gonna have to pay that talent.
I mean, you can
come there.
You can go ahead and get. And I know you may not agree, but you can go ahead and get. Let's see, who is it? Gosh, Russell. Why not? Why not go get Russell?
Well, okay, Russell will be cheap because his guarantee is already pretty much all with Denver. I think they said it's like 36 if they pay him out, right?
Yeah.
So you can sign him for a cheap little deal, veteran minimum. But
a veteran minimum, you add him over to the Patriots. You build.
You got to think about the Patriots cap space already. They still got another year of them crazy contracts they already paid for.
But I think they're gonna let some of these guys try to figure out how to get out of some of these contracts. Because I mean, it's not like they got like the Patriots. I don't think they have absolutely terrible pieces. I think they overextended themselves and thought that they can live without Tom. And in an era where your quarterback, in order to be great, needs to be dynamic. Because Tom, his greatest asset is his mind. And as he got older, the game got slower, just like with Patrick Mahomes. But he'd been in the league so long, it was just like him playing checkers every day. I can do this all day long. I can play this.
Tom got tired of pressure, and he didn't have any weapons to throw the ball to. That's all that was.
And they overestimated how important they underestimated how important Tom was to their overall success against.
I don't think they underestimated. I think they pretty much kept it at the same plane as that. We got Tom Brady. We cool. I don't need all this, but Tom could no longer carry it like he did in the past.
I can rock with it. So who has the most to gain in this in the draft right now? What team do you believe has the most to gain if they do it correctly?
If they do it correctly, in this draft, you can get it depends on how they play it, but you got Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is just literally in need of a quarterback.
Yeah.
Offense is set, defense is set for like the next year or two. So even though they do need a quarterback, they don't necessarily have to draft one. They have, I think they heard the 20th pick. So they can trade for someone like Fields. They could pick up someone like Russ and use that 20th pick to either get other pieces, or they could draft someone like Bo Nix or something like that.
I heard Tomlin likes Fields.
Who?
I heard Tomlin actually likes Fields.
I've heard Tomlin likes Fields, and that's all come to the case. Do you want to trade the 20th pick, a first-round pick for Fields? Off potential, yes. But just from what we've seen, and we could talk about Fields in a minute. Yeah, but off of that, definitely Washington. If Washington gets this right, they can get off to a good start.
The division as it's not gridlock. The Eagles are wishy-washy every other year. The Cowboys, they're not a blockade, and the Giants don't know what they. I don't know. After they won that Super Bowl, they kind of just, I don't know what they did. They just disappeared.
Yeah.
So they haven't been a franchise complete in years.
It's hard to say, and we're going to talk about it more later on, but Chicago, I feel like we should talk about it next. But Chicago, Chicago is a curious case, because I thought Fields could have been the guy, but once again, these coaches have not been good for them at all. So it's like everybody's saying, draft Caleb Williams. With what?
You're going to be in the same situation.
Same situation. Offensive coordinator ain't that much better. Your defense is solid, not great. What weapons?
You got DJ.
That's one.
But
that's one. And you got Cole Kmet. They don't use their offense well. So it's like, are you bringing a top-tier talent? Great. Top-tier talent can only do so much when the rest of your team isn't that great.
So you got what you're going to end up bringing in. What they're going to end up bringing in. So you got, let's say you do trade Justin Fields away, and you do trade him for a first round pick, because in my opinion, they're either going for a late first or a very, very high second.
I don't see them getting late first.
I just think that's what they're going to shoot for.
Oh, of course, but
Fields is going into his 4th year. So when he's going into his 4th year, what ends up happening? That rookie contract, do you trade for him, get him, and you put him on a You put him on a franchise tag, or you make him play that 4th year out? Do you rock with that, let him play that 4th year out and see what goes on, and then you do your renegotiation? Because Tua's going through the same situation in Miami, just not about performance, but based off health. On the other side,
it's a little bit of performance too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look,
playoff performance, he hasn't done well at all, and when he plays playoff teams, he doesn't play well at all.
It definitely
he had one game.
That's one game get you paid. One game can get you paid.
It clearly is not getting him paid. So
if you are, let's say, if you are the Bears, you do draft Caleb Williams, you do make the trade. That means you probably, again, I'm gonna say let's say they do trade to the Steelers, right? I'm just gonna throw the Steelers out there. All right, and they get their first round pick. So now you got the 1, the 9, and the 20th pick. So with the 1, you get Caleb Williams. With the 9, you get yourself a receiver. Do I love the receivers in this draft? No. I like Marvin Harrison. TBG. I like Marvin Harrison. The guy
I like that LSU guy too.
See, I'm wishy-washy, because to me, as good as LSU was last year and the year before, I feel like I got to do more deep dive into his game, and I think that just overall me. Keon Coleman, he disappears every so often for the Florida State, and then Washington. I haven't seen too many receivers come out of Washington.
Hey, I know, but hey, look, that boy good.
Some say he's like old boy from LSU, not with the Bengals. Chase,
almost. I don't know if he's quite Chase, but he's up there as far as talent wise.
He's nice. Depends on what situation he goes to, but if he goes to I don't think he's a Bears fit if they were to go get him at 9. I think that's too high.
I mean, if he can play in Washington, he can play in Chicago.
If Brock Bowers, I know he's not going to be there. If Brock Bowers there at 9, would you take him instead as a receiver, as your tight end? Would you take him instead?
You got Cole. I got Cole. I'm good. Well, I don't know. I mean, Bowers low key has injury issues too, so yeah, I'd rather just keep Cole and move on with that.
Your 20th pick, you can either get another weapon, wide receiver, or you can go ahead and get yourself some for the offensive line.
I'll get a lineman.
And then you can go defense, or you can get a running back. You just don't draft the running back this early.
O-line or defense.
At this point, yeah, if running backs have devalued themselves, I completely agree.
I don't think that at all. But if anything, running backs have shown that how important they are.
They've shown how important they are, but do you need to draft a guy that early?
If he's that good, yeah.
Tell me the last running back who's been that good for a team and drafted early.
Todd Gurley.
He got as soon as he got paid, he got injured.
Nick Chubb. That's not his fault.
That's the running back issue.
That's Jeff Fisher's sorry self not putting a backup behind him. They ran Todd Gurley almost 40, 50 times a game.
You're right. You are exactly right. They ran him 40, 50 times a
5 years straight.
40, 50 times a year. Yes, you're right. They definitely did. But at the end of the day, health-wise for the running back has been troublesome. And if I have to get 2 backs to be 1-2 punch, why am I drafting?
It just works better. It works better.
Not for the ring. It don't work for the ring, because if it works,
whoa.
Whoa!
So you're telling me that if Atlanta hadn't kept running the ball, where your 2 running backs had already had 50 apiece in the first half?
No, I'm saying a single back as your lead guy, because we're seeing Derrick Henry, your lead back, one guy, modern age. We ain't talking back there. Modern age. You give me one running back, one. I paid and I went and got him in the first round. One. Tell me the last one who has been productive and helped me get to a Super Bowl and win it. There's not one. Not even the guy for Kansas City today. Buddy is definitely not that. Like he was what 6th, 7th round.
Well, I'm gonna tell you,
Undrafted?
put it in frankly, if we'll get to this conversation later,
Okay,
but if Shanahan had kept running the ball, Christian McCaffrey would have been MVP.
you right. You are right. But he didn't. So we still.
And
in
you
the
know
same
why?
position.
You can't put that on him. That's on coaching.
I'm not.
That is on coaching. That's what. That is the whole conversation with running backs right now. It's because of coaching.
It is because of coaching, but I'm not. Yeah, because coaching thing. If I pay you a lot of money, I need to run you like crazy, right? Or
no. Coaches think that just because the run game isn't working 2 times, I have to go throw the ball, i.e., or 6 times in a row.
His situation different. His running game has worked in 3 Super Bowls, so his game is different. It worked with the Falcons. It worked again with San Francisco the first time, and it worked with this time. His game is different. You can use that for everybody else, but you can't use it for him because he's averaging about 4 yards a carry for all those backs in the Super Bowl.
I can use it for Baltimore. I could use it for Cleveland. I could use it for Green Bay. I could use it for Detroit. You want me to keep going?
In the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl. In the Super Bowl.
I could use it for Dallas if they weren't stupid. Do you want me to keep going?
Dallas.
Yeah, if Dallas would have ran the ball, it would have been a lot better.
You're right. But Dallas is different. The reason why Dallas is different, it don't matter if they run, throw, pass. It don't matter if you walk the ball all the way down to the 1 yard line with the whole game left. With 1 second left.
I can keep this going, sir.
All I'm saying is these teams that we're seeing go to the league, or these teams that go to the Super Bowl, they're not getting there with just one lead back who was drafted in the first round. They're not doing that. They're not. They are not.
That's just because they simply aren't drafting him there.
Because I don't need to. Why would I?
That is your feelings on the matter.
Why would I pay a running back? Why would I pay him?
I would pay elite talent.
I have no problems paying elite talent, but the elite talent is based off of what is the value of the market.
No, the market is what I create. The market is what you create.
Let me ask you this. Drafting kicker in the first round, would you do it if he's valuable?
There's no need to.
Why?
Because they determine the game on such a loose basis.
Because you can get a great kicker in what round? You can get a lot of great kickers.
You don't have to draft a kicker. They barely determine the game.
At this point, even if a running back determines the game, his value doesn't mean I need to draft him in the first round. Because if I get him in the first,
create the market. If I feel like that person is good enough, I will pay him. Same way they moved up to get Patrick. They created a market for him, and now look who he is.
They did. They definitely did.
They created the market for quarterbacks.
They definitely did.
You know who used to be the market? Running backs and linebackers. They've created the market for quarterbacks to be that much higher than everyone else.
You're right. But my thing,
I don't think the quarterbacks are the most important people on the field. You know who I think is most important? Your O-line. Your O-line.
Look,
that O-line, because you know who touches the ball every time? That center.
I'm not, and the thing is, look, I agree with you. But the league,
you don't. You're falling into the league standards.
No.
I don't follow league standards.
I'm not. Look, I'm following trends. The trend standard. I'm not. Look,
I don't care about trends.
I'm not following the reason I'm not following the league standards on this one because the league will switch left and right. Because you in the league might say because he's a first round talent, I'm gonna go draft him. Derrick Henry, I'm gonna go draft him first round. But the end goal is not to have a great running game and be the top running back, and that's not the end game for the franchise. I need a ring, and if I need to get a ring, it's that nothing's telling me in the last 10 years outside of who Marshawn Lynch, who wasn't even drafted by the Seahawks, who was drafted by the Buffalo Bills. There's nothing in this thing is telling me I need to go get me a number one running back because the last guy who was drafted in the first round as a running back to go to the Super Bowl, what was his name? Todd Gurley. And guess what happened in the Super Bowl? I don't know. Because guess what? He barely got the ball. Because guess who was dominating? The Patriots. They slowed the game down. I can't even blame him on that because they slowed the game down.
You know why they slowed the game down? Because the coach wouldn't want to run the ball.
Guess who ran the ball? The Patriots. Patriots ran the ball all day. Guess who they ran the ball with? 2nd, 4th round, 8th round pick. Undrafted.
And guess what would have happened if you ran the ball with Todd Gurley, who really should have been your MVP?
But Todd was injured too in the game.
I don't care. I don't care. They should have used him.
You right. They should.
Because he's more than just a running back. He was a weapon.
You right. But the problem is the ones making the decisions to win the Super Bowl don't use the guy to
Are
get
idiots.
I'm just. That's,
you want to know why they didn't win a Super Bowl? Because they didn't use their brain.
I'm gonna go back to Fields and the Bears in this situation. I'm gonna go back to Fields and the Bears. All right, so to me, the Bears have a few situations. They can keep Justin Fields, add weapons with the other picks, or you trade Justin Fields, add more picks. By trading Justin Fields, you add more picks, and then you also draft Caleb Williams. Or you trade Justin Fields, add more picks, and draft Marvin Harrison and a quarterback at 9. All right. Look! I see you. Your brain was like, "Hold on, that's not a bad idea."
No, that's a horrible idea. I'm not doing that at all.
It's not a bad idea.
It's only two options here. You can either keep Fields and use all that draft capital to pull down and get as much as you possibly can,
which is probably what you're going to do.
That's what I would do personally. Or you can draft Caleb.
You're still drafting Caleb.
No, I mean. I would keep Fields and just trade down, get 2 first-rounders, and vibe out with Justin, draft Marvin, pair him up with him, get another O-lineman, get another piece on defense, and vibe out from there. Personally, that's what I would do. But if you're going to draft Caleb, odds favorites are, of course, they're going to draft Caleb. He's the number 1 pick.
Because he's the what? He's the next who?
He looks like Mahomes, which everyone want to base everything off of. Go find a dandy. I don't care. I'm still not the most talented quarterback that I've seen in my eyes, but cool beans.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we're definitely not going to. The games I've seen Caleb play in, obviously in the Pac-12.
I was talking about Mahomes.
Is Patrick? You said is Patrick Mahomes the greatest quarterback you've seen?
No, everyone like to say the most talented quarterback I've seen. I was like, he's not.
No. I
still give it to Aaron.
Aaron has a way with the ball. He has a way with the ball, and his understanding of the game is very impressive. But I also like the fact that Green Bay has done it better than anybody else in that freaking bridge. Anybody else. Because you went from...
We're going to get to that later. We're going to get to that later.
It's lovely.
Let's stick with Chicago.
Let's say you get Justin Fields, right? You keep Justin Fields, you add weapons. Marvin Harrison is probably your best bet in getting Marvin Harrison. Because I don't see Washington passing a quarterback. I don't see the Patriots passing up a quarterback. Even if they're talking, if they have talks about trading the pick, I think they need a quarterback at the end of the day. The other situations, I think most of those teams who are in the next group, I got to check actually, see who the draft order is. My bad on that one.
So while you're checking that, there's actually some rumors because Caleb is from the D.C. area
that they would trade for.
Down, Caleb could get picked at number 2 from Washington. And I actually like that quite a lot.
Number 2, Washington. That wouldn't be bad. They'll sell tickets. They're trying to get a whole new stadium. The league might.
They can rebuild that offense and then gradually build the defense up. Yeah.
The league.
I like him a lot more.
Let's see. You got the Bears. You got Washington. You got Patriots. You got Arizona, who might go get Marvin if he's there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You got the Chargers, and you got the
if
Giants.
They don't get Bowers, they're stupid.
Tennessee's at 7, Atlanta's at 8, Chicago's at 9. But if you are the Bears, and let's say you do make that trade with Washington, you're going to end up getting Washington's first pick. Regardless, you're going to end up getting Washington. Let's say you keep Fields. You go ahead and get Washington's first pick. Your first pick that you're going to have with Washington, you're probably going to end up getting Marvin Harrison at 2, while Washington takes Caleb Williams at 1. Drake May would end up falling either to the Patriots because I think they'll take.
I feel like they can. I feel like once they get 2, they're going to trade back again.
And then
because somebody's going to want that second pick.
And then you have one other situation here. Let's say let's say Daniels or somebody else gets that pick. Let's say they get third. Daniels, Patriots get Daniels, or whoever happens, whatever moves up. I could definitely see Drake May falling to the Giants.
What pick were the Giants?
The Giants are 6. Giants are 6. The Chargers not getting a quarterback. Arizona's not getting a quarterback. The Patriots, they're going to get a quarterback. If they get Jaden Daniels, then they're not going to go get Drake May. And then I can see him falling down to the Giants, who have a Daniel Jones contract that's ugly. And how much of that is guaranteed? Is that back end guarantee? Is it top end? Also, again, you start
off really only a 3-year deal, so they can really cut him out from under that.
And you're already cutting loose Saquon Barkley, looks like. So you're gonna get rid of Barkley and Daniels. You start over, fresh cap, fresh roll. Get a quarterback who's going to be on a rookie deal. Quarterback's on a rookie deal. You get yourself some extra picks if you trade Saquon. Either you trade Saquon or you let him walk. But you have options there. Daniel Jones, you can trade him to you could trade him to the Titans if you want to, or you can trade him to the Atlanta Falcons if you want to, or you can trade him to the Minnesota Vikings because Kirk Cousins still hasn't signed down with it. So you open the door up for an opportunity to get yourself a quarterback to rebuild around. And some say Drake May reminds them of an Eli Manning. Just saying.
And what? Wait, he's 3 times the athlete that Eli could dream of being.
Eli coming out of college. Look at Ole Miss. Eli coming out of college. Eli coming out of college at Ole Miss.
He is 3 times the athlete Eli could ever dream of being.
I'm not saying most of these players have 3 times the athletes that anybody see. But like then the quarterbacks we saw before, because most guys wasn't running out of pocket. The only guy who was doing that was Mike Vick and McNabb. Cole Pepper too. Elway. Yeah.
Flutie. Yeah.
Sound like a
Tarkenton.
What?
Shall
okay.
I keep going?
Okay. And even but the thing is, in their time period, they were like it wasn't a great amount. Like nowadays, most quarterbacks.
It wasn't, but I got you.
But just saying it, I think the Giants could pick Drake May up at 6.
No, that's very interesting. I could definitely see that happening. I definitely could see that happening. Once again, though, they have to get some pieces around him because it ain't pretty.
You gotta get some pieces around him, and so let's say you Daniel Jones is gone, or you trade him, you get a few picks there. After that, you got Saquon Barkley. I don't know if they're gonna sign him. He's free agency after he goes into the free agency after this. So I don't know if you're gonna sign him over, but it's just an option out there.
No, I like it.
Yeah, and the after that, the Bears are at 9. I don't know if they trade back with Washington, will they be able to keep their 9, or will they make that trade with Washington? But if they do keep the 9, now the door opens up because now I have Marvin Harrison, so I got me a weapon. I can go get me another weapon. I can definitely go get me another weapon. Cause I need a tight end. I need an edge. I need an inside O lineman. I need something. And each position that they truly need, they need dynamic players.
Yeah,
you can get that guy from Penn State that tackle.
Yeah. He's good.
So you immediately go from picking number 1, and I'm not saying it's going to be a complete immediate flip of the wrist, but you immediately go from picking number 1 to picking number 2, but you're grabbing the receiver and somebody to block for Fields, and now whoever's your with your OC and everything else like that, you can actually have something to work with. And I'm sure if you trade back with Washington's giving up a lot more than just you getting number 2.
I'm not. Well, I'm getting at least 2 first rounders. At least
either 2 first rounder or I'm diving into what this
for Caleb. For one of these guys, they for that number 1 pick,
hometown hero.
I'm saying though, boy, Washington, you're gonna have to give me something, boy.
Would you give up a D lineman if you're Washington?
If I would get up a who?
Would you give up a D lineman if you're Washington?
So you probably not Payne, but what's his name? I can't think of his name. It might be Payne, but he already said that he doesn't want to be a part of a rebuild. So if Chicago will want him, I don't see any reason why not, because he's still a beast right now. I'd take him. 2 first rounders, probably another second and third.
The team looks completely. I say your team's overall completely different, but the door looks a lot
completely different.
The door looks a lot.
I mean, especially if you still have Fields and you kind of lean into the running game until you fully get your passing game acclimated. Yeah.
Because I think one thing they need to introduce, if you're the Bears, like you have to, as good as Fields was as a deep ball thrower at Ohio State, that short game needs to be paramount, in my opinion. And not just always doing the screen. Like, I like screens. I do like screens, but not every single play because everybody's starting to read that. But if you made some complex short routes for him to get comfortable in a groove to start the game off, right? Quick underneath. The defense has to respect the underneath route and will have to force themselves to move up. While that do open you up for a deep ball. Or if you want to open up for a deep ball, I look, I don't know how much anybody else is saying, but Waddle might be available. Waddle.
Who?
Waddle might be available. Because them contracts are starting to hit in Miami. And if Waddle's open, would you not try to see about, hey, Waddle, would you want to come up here to Chi-Town, pair up with Justin Fields, Marvin Harrison, DJ, bro, the whole receiving core in that instant is changed because now I have a deep threat, I have a short threat, I have a number one receiver, I have another number one, but I have options now. The Bears' offense looks different. I know you like it. I know you like it. I
like someone even better though. I like someone a lot better.
Who?
Actually, I like 2 people a little bit better.
Then Waddle?
Yeah.
Who would you go with?
All right, so one, I hate the narrative around Fields. He's a gunslinger. He's turned into a runner simply because of where he's at.
Yeah.
Dude had 40 touchdowns and 9 picks in college. He didn't run the ball until his last couple games. That's when he finally showed that he had legs.
That game against Clemson.
That was it. And guess who he beat? Yeah, he beat Clemson.
That was a beautiful game. Like
that wasn't even Ohio State's best defense by far. Yeah. Their best defense was two years ago.
Yeah. And T-Law
still couldn't do what he needed to do. Mm-hmm. But my dog Fields got speared and still came back and threw 6 tuds and won a game.
And they thought they didn't. That wasn't the guy. That he's the guy, but we're not going to build around the guy.
Okay, and so we get here. Who I like a little bit more than Waddle because one, they stay on the field and their production says, "Wow." Get my boy T. Higgins out of Cincinnati. Grab him quick. You're gonna have to pay him. You will have to pay him.
Oh my gosh!
But you're going to be happy that you paid him. I promise you're going to be happy. Even injured, he's productive. So I don't see any reason.
You're going to have DJ, T. Higgins, and you're going to have Marvin Harrison.
Cheap Marvin Harrison.
What a cheap Marvin Harrison. And you're going to end up forcing Justin Fields to play on the 4th-year deal, on the 4th year of that contract, the rookie contract. Because at the end of the day, this allows you to either see if he's worth it, or get a guy in the next draft that can hold off as well.
Oh yeah, you're not getting. You're going to have to trade for somebody next draft.
Yeah,
because Well, I mean, granted, you probably will get a 1st-round pick next year, but who's going to be that guy next year?
At this point, there's not really a guy in college that you're like, I can't wait to see him ball. But I mean, guys show up out of nowhere. Joe Burrow popped up out of nowhere. Who else
popped up out of nowhere?
Penix popped up out of nowhere, and he might be a landing spot for Joe Klatt said this. He might be a landing spot in Miami.
Boy, if he went to Miami,
hey, went to Miami. Hey, look, let me hold on.
I'm telling you, boy.
Let me hold off on that. Let me backtrack on that. Let me hold off on that.
Look here, no, because you know what I said. He just needs. He's that good, and he doesn't even know how to throw yet, bro.
Yeah.
That motion is so ugly, and they talking about it. It looks so much different as a right-hander. No, it doesn't. It's still ugly. But
I think for him, Penix, I did like Penix. I liked him a little bit One thing I'm worried about is that in that game against Michigan, his eyes look like they got big, and to me, it felt like he got rattled a little bit.
I think that was a little bit more on coaching. I think Jim Harbaugh he's kind of set the pace for the game with that defense.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm to be real, both defenses were kind of just
happy to be there,
doing their thing. They were not happy to be there. They were kind of just doing their thing. And the offenses were just got lucky here and there until Michigan's offense got lucky first.
So,
to be honest.
But overall, with the Bears situation, keep Justin, move to the second pick, get Marvin. At 9, you can get yourself a nice little O-lineman if you need be, right? And you probably you're probably still back in the first round because of that trade with Washington, or you get in the early second because you traded with Washington. So, and I think
if you want to keep it cheap, you could potentially trade for T. Higgins.
You still got to pay T. Higgins.
You do, but
you're saying,
I don't know. I'm trying to coax the deal. So one, they can likely pay some of that for me. Hey, look, any way to make this thing cheaper, bro.
But I mean, the cheapest route you can go is just to draft a receiver.
Yeah, but all these receivers don't really. Oh my god,
they don't all pan out.
Some of these guys.
I mean, at this point, scouting wise, when it comes to receivers, man, is not. You don't. Again, it's just like you need a top number 1 receiver. You need a guy. You need a guy who's starting.
You don't.
You need a guy who's starting, bro. And you need a guy who start. You know, a guy I would love for them to go get is he's with the Chiefs, and he hasn't shown much. He hasn't shown much in the league, which is what it is. What it is. But I would love to go see them go get Justin Ross from the Chiefs. You can trade.
I think they're not going to get rid of Ross.
You could probably get because they know what they got. They know what they got.
Yeah, they're not getting rid of Ross.
For all the stuff that has happened, and you still got him on the roster, they know something. And
they're not getting because you saw what he did this year.
Oh, bro, they like he's our bread, like he's our next bread and butter. But we just gotta let
if he could be their next Dwayne Bowe if he plays it out right.
But if you are the Bears and you have some options, let's say you trade with the Chiefs a 6th and a 7th, do you not consider if you're a Chiefs, you not get rid of Justin Ross for a 6th and a 7th? Because you got Ross for undrafted. He was undrafted.
I know, but off potential, they might ask for a 3rd for him.
That boy's nice, boy. That boy's nice.
That's an expensive for a guy that you undrafted.
And he has a highlight tape on Alabama. All like that highlight, boy, that catch radius. He catch the ball.
He got 2 minutes worth of plays in the NFL where you're like, okay,
this might be something.
Hey, he just got to stay healthy, and you just got to put him on the field.
If you are the Chiefs, it prevents you having to pay another guy too, because you'll still have that guy. So. Yeah. On the low.
I just like to take a piece off the Chiefs anyway. So,
all right. So we're gonna move on to one of the greatest topics of the modern age, Kyle Shanahan. All right. So, like we said earlier, before we started this, Kyle Shanahan has had 3 Super Bowl opportunities. Here's the thing. We say 3. As if he wasn't the OC. No. There's 2 that he's head coach. But most people say 3 because he was the OC, and we knew he did so much for the Falcons offense that most people were like, dang, he's been a Super Bowl 3 times. No, he's been twice as the head guy. He's been once as the OC. Where does the blame lie on this? Because they clearly fired Wilkins. Because they wanted him to take the ball.
Yeah, I saw that and I
couldn't believe it.
I almost threw my phone when I saw that they had fired Steve Wilkes. I was like, what? you've had a now they've had a top at least 5 defense every year with a different OC. I mean with a different DC. So obviously the guys that you're getting are getting the job done. Now the last guy got a head coaching job, so clearly he was doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then this guy lost his starting safety, had injuries on the defense, and you still were able to somewhat stymie Patrick Mahomes.
19 points, bro, for majority of the game.
So the firing is very trivial. Now, when it comes to Shanahan, I'm gonna be honest. I think it just fully comes down to his conviction. I think when he gets into the rut, he kind of stems off what he knows and what he does. To be full and frank, like we said, 2 running backs had 50 yards in the Super Bowl in the first half. There is no reason they shouldn't at least have 30 to 50 in the second half apiece, period.
In that third,
you were up 28-3. Why are you throwing the ball?
That and put it this way also, that when they scored that 28th point, the 28 points they scored, that drive in the third quarter, they chewed up most of the third quarter with running the ball. Let's be honest. Everybody watching.
What, it was 8 minutes left in the second in that third quarter?
No. It was like 6. It was like 6. I think you might even say 3 minutes. Bro. It was remarkable.
I think you're right. It was about 6 to 8 minutes, something like that.
It was remarkable because you're like, dog, the third quarter is gone, and the Patriots have no way of stopping this running game. Nothing. Can't stop it. Can't sneeze at it. And these 2 backs are going back to back to back. And then you said, "Oh, I got an MVP at quarterback. I'm gonna throw the ball." And this is the difference between what makes good coaches and great coaches. I think Kyle Shanahan's a good coach, like by hands down. For you to get back to Super Bowl this many times at a young age, he's like in his 40s.
He's a great coach. He's not a.
I think he's good.
He keeps messing up. He keeps messing up his elite status.
I think the only reason I say he's good is because you're asking yourself in crunch time, what are you going to do, right? And in crunch time, he's doing the same mistake over and over again. And it's not. It's just like, how many do you need somebody over your shoulder telling you, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball? Because Christian McCaffrey was, getting it. Every running back he's had in Super Bowl has been getting it, but he pulls the plug from them because he believes in his quarterback more so than his offensive line running.
I don't think he believes more in the quarterback. I think he believes more in his scheme, and I can understand that.
Your scheme is working. If your scheme includes running the ball, and you're getting yards, and you're scoring points, and you're running down the clock, isn't that part of your scheme? Or is it my play call sheet says I need to have 52 passing plays, and then and on the side it says 30 run plays. I've already hit the 30 mark, but I'm right here at 30 on the. I need to hit the other 22 passing plays.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest. We're all wondering, just like you, man.
Because
look,
firing Wilkins was crazy. Their defense was 14th in pass rush, 3rd in rush defense, 3rd in scoring defense, 8th in defense overall, 16th in the red zone, 23rd in third downs. But if you're getting off the field that quickly, the red zone's not an issue because people aren't getting there. And then the third down's not an issue because guess what? We're not seeing that too much. We're getting them off the field. I'm having a hard time with this Shanahan situation because I think Shanahan is really good. I'm in disbelief that you can do this 3 times.
Yeah, I guess what really blew me was the overtime pick. Like when he first did it, I was like, okay, cool, you're gonna go down there and score. But thinking about it, it's like, yeah, you definitely should have. What I said, grab the ball, but then my mind quickly shifted, like, yo, no, give the ball away. I was like, why? Because if I know that you didn't score, or better yet, if I know you scored, I still have that same 4 down. Now I have 4 downs to go for sure.
Instead of being comfortable with kicking a field goal at 3.
I can't be comfortable kicking a field goal because they could come back and kick another field goal. And then, oh, wait, I didn't just score here. There's no guarantee I'm going to score again. But, of course, the next scoring drive does win on that third one. But to be frank, you almost didn't get down there, to be real.
Yeah, it was
you
hard.
almost didn't get down there. And leading up to that, there is no reason why you should not have went for that fourth down.
Bro, that third and 4.
It was the dumbest call I've ever seen in my life. There's no reason why you shouldn't have ran the ball.
And I hope we're talking about, because he's in it was 2 situations, 3rd and 4. 2 situations. Overtime,
which one are you talking about?
You got overtime.
And then regulation.
But I'm talking regulation.
Yeah.
3rd and 4. Christian McCaffrey is on the field. You have.
Oh my God,
bro! I looked at that. I was like, yo, Christian McCaffrey off the field. You're going against the team that lead the league in padded balls. He's padded 2 or 3 balls already this game. Your quarterback ain't the biggest guy on the field. That's another thing, right? Your best tackle hasn't been dominating in pass rush, but he's definitely held his own in the run game, right? And you actually decide that I'm not going to put the ball in one of the best, if not the best back in NFL. In football, I'm not going to give him the ball. 3rd and 4. If let's say this, I want to kick a field goal, so we don't. No. This is how this game should have played out. And Cal, listen to me. Out here. Listen to me, Cal. This is how this is supposed to work out. What you're supposed to do, 3rd and 4, right? You're supposed to hand it off to Kitchen. 2 things would have happened, right? Either you run the ball and you go and get the first down, or right, first down, new set of downs, and guess what? You run the clock out. Game is what? What?
OV.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You have yourself a Super Bowl ring instead of looking at your father's rings in his closet. You actually got a Super Bowl ring, right? That's the one. The other option was you run with Christian McCaffrey, right? And guess what you do? You fall short 1 yard, right? Or if let's say you don't get it, but you get a little bit closer. And if you still wanted to kick a field goal, you can still, the option was still there to kick a field goal.
And guess what? OV.
You're a winner. And you get what I'm saying? Like you still, like, the option is still there, but instead you took
right there in your face
the running back and you gave it to the quarterback, a quarterback who.
It's not even that, bro. Chris Jones made another playoff successful play. Completely obliterated your O-line and got in the way for a wide open man for a touchdown.
Bro.
Did you not see that hole when he exploded through there? Christian could have banged his head against the bleachers in Philadelphia.
They say big time players make big time plays in big time games.
Oh, Chris is that guy. Hey, Chris finna get paid. I don't know if it's from the Chief, but he finna get paid.
He's gonna get paid, and so this is the thing that happens to good D linemen who have been to the Super Bowl, and this is what happens with a lot of good players who've been to the Super Bowl, who have shown that they produce more. And Chris Jones produced all season, but in the playoffs, there's a different level. He's a different level of game, right? And this is what you do. As nice as he might have been in the regular season, he's shown that he's better in the playoffs. And what he's going to end up doing, and what teams are going to do, is the teams that are trying to make a push for a Super Bowl, they're going to ask for his services, and they're going to pay him. The reason why? Buffalo. The reason why they're going to add him is because guess what? He mentally understands. This is how we need to get to the league, to get to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Mentally, I'm there. Number 2, he's going to give whatever effort he can to the rest of his teammates to understand, hey, mentally, we need to be here. You need to understand what we need to do. And in crunch situations, he doesn't fold. He doesn't fold. This is what happened with the Rams when they went to the Super Bowl. They added someone who understood how to win a Super Bowl. They added someone who knows how to get Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's just the way it works. Even with let's go back to the Bucs. Yeah, they got Tom Brady because Tom understood how to get a Super Bowl, but Tom was like, hey, I need some extra position guys. And he didn't go get guys who didn't go to a Super Bowl. He went and got guys who've been there, or at least been on winning franchises.
Outside of Lenny, yeah. I mean, Lenny was just a guy that he just loved.
But the thing is, and here's the difference. Here's the thing, right? If you can't get a guy who's won a Super Bowl in the playoffs, you get a guy who has performed well in the playoffs. Lenny, when he was with the Jaguars, he performed in the playoffs. He did his thing.
He did.
AB, when they added AB, as crazy as he is, He performs in the playoffs.
He definitely got him there.
He performs in the playoffs.
Got him there.
Gronkowski performs in the playoffs. You want guys who do what? Perform in the playoffs. If you don't got the guy who perform in the playoffs, there's no reason to go get an old guy. You might as well go ahead and get yourself a rookie because you don't need him. This is why they kept Edelman on the Patriots. He wasn't the most greatest guy in the regular season, but in the playoffs, the man leads the NFL history. And what he was, a quarterback coming out of college. So I think I definitely agree with Chris Jones. Buddy getting paid. Would it be about the Chiefs? Probably not. I don't think they're going to put that type of money on behind.
They can't afford him.
But there's going to be a team that's thinking, we have a shot at a Super Bowl. We need to do whatever we got to do to get there. Could it be? Could it be the Lions? Could it be?
Thinking about these NFC teams, I'm gonna tell you my pick when we get to this next one.
Go ahead.
Well, when we get to this next topic, I'm gonna give you my pick on where I think he should go.
Talking about which topic?
About them quarterbacks and that.
Let's get to it. All
right. So I brought this up because I found it very interesting, and I think it was an interesting list to say the least. So, Mike Greenberg on ESPN, he put out a list of quarterbacks he thinks are up to win the next Super Bowl. Number 5, he had Herbert. Number 4, Lamar. 3 was Burrow. 2 was Purdy. And number 1 was Jordan Love. I want your opinion on the list first before I give mine.
So, all right. So you said 5 was
Herbert.
Okay, and then you had Jackson at 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So with Herbert, I like it, and if you give that time frame, right? If it goes in that order, I can see it.
He didn't give a time frame. He said they were up next.
They're next going. Okay. I think Herbert has a shot just because who he's getting as a coach. He's getting, in my opinion, he's not. And then this goes back to our conversation we had a few podcasts ago when we talked about Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh might have been from the offensive side, right, as a quarterback coming out of college or whatnot. He might have the offensive prowess or understanding or however. But Harbaugh is a head coach. And to me, in the NFL, it's very hard to get in today's game to get yourself a head coach. Mike Tomlin is a head coach, right? This is when you look at and it might be their best side might be defense. Tony Dungy, he's a head coach. His best side might be defense, but he's a head coach, meaning they make the head coach type of decisions. They don't do schemes that need to do X, Y. They do what needs to be done to win the game. They don't care what you think. They do what it needs to be done to win the game. I don't care if the offense is throwing the ball 1,000 miles an hour. If I need to run the ball 40 times in this Super Bowl, I'm going to run the ball 40 times in the Super Bowl. Kyle Shanahan, listen to me. Listen to me. Next time, call me. DM me. Message us. We got you. We got your game plan for you. You want to ring. I can polish the room for you and let you know it's here waiting on you if you follow our direction.
Oh, man.
But I understand Herbert. Jackson, in my opinion, because of his dynamic legs or whatnot, and it seems like teams haven't figured out a way to kind of lock that in. And the only way to lock him in my opinion, is if they decide not to allow him to run the ball, or he decides on his own to not do what needs to be done. Again, Jackson, listen to me. You could have won that game by yourself because the Chiefs
should have, not could have.
Should have, because your defense held them where they need to be held to. It was up to you to win that game. Look, it is what it is. 2-time MVP. You that guy. But we gotta flip it over in the playoffs. Okay. Now those two, coaching and play calling, will get them there, and they're in the toughest side in the AFC. Burrow, again, he's in the toughest side in the AFC. At the end of the day, you're in the AFC. It's tough. Burrow needs to be healthy. Offensive line is going to hold him back. And thing is, also, you're going to end up in a situation if you're like the Cincinnati Bengals or any other team that feels like they should have won, and because they did not win or win in a timely manner that they want them to win, they end up blowing up the whole situation and being wondering why am I falling back to nothing? Jaguars, i.e. Jaguars, i.e. the Browns, i.e. what's about to happen with the Dolphins.
Yeah, maybe, possibly.
You know what I'm saying? You blow up the whole situation.
Possibly,
just you did not do what you needed to be done. Now, Purdy and Love, because they're in the NFC, I see why they're the 1-2. The NFC is wide open. Anybody can get there. Anybody can get there. As long as you believe. If you believe in magic, you can get yourself into the Super Bowl. Will you win? I don't know. But you believe in magic, you can. The thing about these two guys, they are locked in with quality. Purdy has a quality team around him. Hands down. Their defense has been solid. Didn't matter who the defensive coordinator has been. They've been solid for the last 3 defensive coordinators. So they're been good on that, right? And it seemed like the head coach doesn't matter either because, again, Jim Harbaugh, he was productive with them. It is what it is. But with Purdy, all Purdy has to do is sit back and continue to mature, just like Tom Brady did when he was with the Patriots. I don't have to do too much. I just need to get better at understanding how the NFL works. So when it is my time to be called to make a play, like I did in the NFC Championship game, I can make the plays and not give up a game. And if he can do that in the Super Bowl, you might have a shot because I believe Kyle Shanahan gets them back to the Super Bowl. Is it next year? Is it a year after that? I believe he does get back. I think Christian McCaffrey might not be there. He might be.
He definitely has got another year on that contract.
Yeah, but if they don't get back next year, are they going to pay him again?
Oh, maybe not.
And then Love. Love fell into the best situation. All right. And this goes into my I keep saying this word, bridge quarterback. He's in the best situation, in my opinion. He's in the best for an NFC guy to fall into this situation. Right? He's not like he with the Lions where they had to, like, this season was like, wow, the Lions actually did something. Can they do it again next year? They might because their team is young. Very, very young. But what I like about Love is that his game mirrors the guy he was mentored by. Like, it mirrors Aaron Rodgers. He's a big quarterback. He's not small. He's a big quarterback. He has a little hunger in him because guess what? He came from what Utah State?
Yeah.
So he has hunger in him. Just like we saw with Colin Kaepernick. Hunger in him. Because guess what? He gave him Nevada.
Just like you saw with Aaron.
He felt
like he should have been up there, number 1 pick. 24.
Yeah. And he's been through a lot. I mean, most people don't understand. He actually wanted to commit to Florida State. That was the team he wanted to be with. Florida State didn't offer him. He goes to Cal. And you end up tag teaming with Deshaun Jackson and Marshawn Lynch. I don't know how you don't win anything. Defense.
Aaron wasn't that guy in college like he was.
He wasn't that guy. He matured. It's just like Love. Love was good in his area, but he wasn't the guy that you overall should say he's going to lead me in the NFL. But what we saw was, throwing passes that were off balance, making the key plays, adjusting the defense. Accuracy was on point. To me, Love looks like it looks lovely. It looks lovely. What his future could be. And the NFC is so wide open. The Seahawks trying to figure it out. The Cowboys can't figure it out. The Giants, like we said, they're about to do a whole new rebuild. And if they follow our strategy, listen to us. If you follow our strategy, you might end up with Drake May. And you have a whole new quarterback situation starting all over. And you go get, a nice little ring, chunk of change. If you go from there, all right, so who else? You got the Cardinals. They're picking early. The Bears, they're picking early. Honestly, the whole NFC is picking early. The Eagles are blowing up their situation.
Yeah.
This is open season. Your competition is the 49ers, the Lions, if they're able to repeat what they did, right? Now that everybody knows their scheme, can they do it again? And your other, you're going to have to face who on the NFC side that can put fear in your heart? There's nobody there. So what was your take on these 5?
All right. So my take on the list, I'm actually omitting one team and adding another, and I'm changing the order.
Oh, okay.
So for me, number 5 is Philly. I still think they're going to win one.
Okay.
Even though I like the cockiness, I do and don't like the cockiness of Sirianni. You have the perfect quarterback to kind of nullify that, and he's done that a number of times. Just to be honest, I
Sure, yeah,
think
he
honestly,
flows with the Eagles. The Eagle, the Philly aura. That's what he is. It seemed like he fits it. He fits the city.
Jalen fits it to a T. Like
Yeah.
I said, I would have loved him anywhere in Pennsylvania. Honestly, he could have been in Pittsburgh. He could have been right there in Philly. Number 4 for me is going to be Burrow. I just feel like he's going to get one. At some point, he's going to get one. He has to.
He has a demeanor.
I told you that I can't remember what game it was. I told y'all. I was like, and we all agreed on it. It's like, yeah, he's that dude.
He makes you believe, and then when
he makes you believe.
He's literally what? If the greatest D tackle of the modern era didn't get through that O line like he did as quickly as he did,
like
Chase is running. Chase is running down the field.
Honestly, I don't even care about Chase. If P. Ron had dove for the ball, we probably would have had a different game. That's just me. So I fight with number 1 through 3. So I'm gonna keep them on the same plane and I'm just gonna list who they are. Obviously Lamar and Purdy. Both of them I feel like will either get to Purdy's gonna at least get to another one, and he may win one. I feel like Lamar's definitely gonna win one. And Love. I'm gonna be real with you. The love that I saw
in the playoffs,
first 6, no, forget the playoffs. The love that I saw in them first 6 or 7 weeks, I was like, dang.
I don't know.
They whiffed.
I don't know.
But boy, week 8 through 16 was a different type of cat. I think it was week 12. I can't remember who they were playing. He made a throw, and I had to blink and look twice to make sure that it wasn't Aaron Rodgers. Boy, I said, "Oh my God!" Aaron Dillon has been once. Their old defense is not the same defense no more. The only person that really has experience is Jair. That's it. This team is young, and they're looking. Next year, they're not making them same mistakes. You want me to be real? I think they should have beat 49ers. And in perfect conditions in Vegas, they have a smooth chance of beating the Chiefs because LaFleur, he ain't stopping running the ball. You saw what he did. He's not stopping running the ball.
He loves hitting that ball.
And look, they better be lucky that A.J. Dillon wasn't healthy for the playoffs. They better be lucky A.J. wasn't healthy because you saw what Aaron was doing to people. You saw what he did to Dallas. You saw he had a little success against the 49ers, too. If you had AJ, so they could have had that tandem.
1-2 punch.
Boy, it would have been another. You want to know who they remind me of? LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi for the Philly when they won. That's exactly what that was. That was hard. You couldn't, because LeGarrette, blah, blah, blah. And here comes Ajayi sneaking through a hole, and he got a touchdown.
When you make that comparison, I see where you're coming from. To be honest, if organized the right way, because again, Jim Harbaugh didn't go to the NFC side. You could honestly, and this is perfect. If it's everything lays out the way some of these teams want, you can not say
it would have been another. You want to know who they remind me of? LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi for the Philly when they won. That's exactly what that was. That was hard. You couldn't, because LeGarrette, blah, blah, blah. And here comes Ajayi sneaking through a hole, and he got a touchdown.
When you make that comparison, I see where you're coming from. To be honest, if organized the right way, because again, Jim Harbaugh didn't go to the NFC side. You could honestly, and this is perfect. If it's everything lays out the way some of these teams want, you can find yourself in a time period where a 5-year span where you can see the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions in an NFC Championship game multiple years, because both teams are really young. Both teams are set up perfectly.
Look here.
Both teams have, and the Lions, let's say they add a power back, just throwing it out there, another power, a
They
real.
they got one. Montgomery is a power back, bro.
Okay.
They got Montgomery and the other dude. They solid,
bro. Just think,
they solid.
Could you not see them two? Could you not see?
No, I definitely can. Look here, Aaron Jones still got 2 years on his deal.
Beautiful.
He ain't going nowhere.
Beautiful setup.
He's not going nowhere.
And the one thing
Jameer Gibbs just got signed.
One thing about
Branch
the Packers
is a safety, just got signed. They good.
You know the thing the Packers do really well is they keep their guys. They're old school. They keep their guys because they know they're not going to get nobody in free agent to come to.
No,
nobody's coming out.
I don't know that anymore because ever since Aaron is gone, there has. I wouldn't be surprised if Devontae wanted to come back.
Sure, you know Aaron trying to get Devontae to go to Jets.
Nobody want to go to the doggone Jets. I almost said some words on here. That's a poo show. Basura.
Oh man,
basura. I would never play for Nathaniel Hackett. Never in my life. What do I look like ruining my career playing for Nathaniel Hackett?
Well, you could. So the Packers have been set up really nicely. The Lions are set up really nicely. The 49ers have a young quarterback who all you have to do is just don't put the ball in his hands every time.
I'm gonna be honest. If you want to omit the Eagles, you can put Detroit in their place too. I could see them possibly getting to a Super Bowl. I don't know if they would win one because Goff sometimes.
Me, I like ruggedness, bro. I like the toughness that team has, and now
I would pay for Dan in a minute.
Yeah. I think, and also the head coach, and this goes back to my statement about Jim Harbaugh. The head coach, although he's learning the ropes because that was his first opportunity as a head coach, and you're like, where the heck this guy came from? But to me, he seems like he's molding himself into being a head coach and not just a guy who was a good position coach or OC or whatnot. Because one thing he does well, and this is one thing Jim Harbaugh does really well, and this is something that I think Bill did well during his tenure. In the last few years, it wasn't so much. It kind of fell off. They trust the guys they hired to do the job that they asked them to do. And so, same thing with Andy Reid. The good ones, the good coaches. Yes, I'm there. I'm a great coach, right? But I hired this guy for a reason. I'm hiring him to do his job. And we're going to live and die by that. This is something that Kyle Shanahan could not live with. He cannot live with because he's not going to live and die by trusting his guy to do the job because he's going to belittle him when he's doing the job. So the other guys ain't going to belittle him. They're just going to be like, hey, we messed up. We didn't get it done. Let's move forward. Mike Tomlin delegates his guys. I trust you to do your job. But hey, man, I definitely like your list. I definitely like your list. I could definitely put the Lions in there. I'm putting Jackson in because I want Jackson to win one. Like Jackson in there because I want him to win one.
I think he's got to get one, dude. That team, they're set for the next 3 years.
Yeah, but
that team is set for the next 3 years.
Yeah, but if you do, let's say you do wrong play calling, all season goes crazy. They're not, and they have a good head coach, right? Obviously, and John Harbaugh, they have a good head coach. But what goes on in the locker room can adjust some things, right? Some contracts can be a little ugly, depending on who they pick up in this draft class. And you could end up having a really good team and end up slipping away because you made some wrong picks. And just
that's true.
Throwing it out there. But I want him to win one. I think Herbert, he has the size. He has the talent. He has, I don't know what his roster is going to look like in a few months because they over the cap. But for the most part, the Chargers do a really good job. Outside of that first pick last year, they do a really good job of drafting players. And that's something they do a good job of drafting players. Players seem like they want to come to San Diego. Or not San Diego, LA. They seem like they want to go to LA. So you don't have an issue there. And to play with a young, talented, aggressive quarterback like Herbert is, you might have something there. Their defense is not bad. They have one of the best young corners in the league in Asante Samuel. I think bro's a beast. and also he showed up in the playoffs. So that's a three picks in the playoffs. So that's a beauty that I enjoy. I love seeing picks. So you got that, and that'll be my third. I like Love and I like Purdy, but if I add a sixth guy in there, I would love to add a sixth guy in there. And it's not going to be C.J. Stroud. He's just in a tough situation. He's just I think again Joe Burrow is to me he's tied because it's all dependent on that line. It's all dependent on the line. I think he can play with any receiver that you give him. I think he can make everyone believe that they're better than what they are. But if they don't add to that offensive line, no matter how good or how much they think they're better, you just have a bad O-line. They just trash. Just my thought.
So who's your sixth man?
My sixth man was Burrow because I had
what?
Because I have the Lions in their situation.
Okay, copy.
Because I know that what we saw from him when he was with the Lions. Jared Goff, right? Jared Goff has matured to a point where he is now. Dude's 29 years old, right? Has years of experience, been to a Super Bowl, went to a whole nother team, molded these jokers to get to where they are now. I believe in Jared Goff because I think
he has at least another 5-6 years good play. So yeah,
and then also the thing about their head coach, although he's still learning how to be a great head coach or be a good head coach, he's an offensive lineman, and he's going to make sure. Yeah, and he's going to make sure his offensive line is solid. You got a good running back. Your whole team is young. You're about to pay your receiver. I feel like everything's set up for him to win. The issue with Jackson, Herbert, Burrow is that all roads go through the Chiefs. All roads in the AFC go to the Chiefs.
But if you just play your game. If you only just play your game, listen to me.
We've only seen two teams play their game. The Bengals in that against them in the playoffs, and the Patriots.
I mean, technically, and I can't even. I don't really know what type of game it was because I can't remember them even running the ball like that. But Philly just was able to do something to that defense that Philly felt like Jalen and Steichen really just had their day on that Sunday, and I don't get it.
Philly to me feels like Atlanta sometimes. What they have their situation right now, that Atlanta team, right, is the hype.
The defense ain't that good no more.
Yeah, the defense ain't that good. The hype is there, but I feel like, let's say when you're a young kid, you about to get something right, and you about to do it, and all of a sudden you mess up playing a video game, you about to win. Let's say you playing Need for Speed Underground. You about to win. You on a motorcycle, so bro, just winning a motorcycle race is freaking difficult. You about to win, and out of nowhere, as you see the finish line, right? Either the guy shoots right by you because he done had extra nods, or that car come out of nowhere, and in your game, right?
In your life,
and you look at mad as I don't know what, right? That's how I see that's how I feel about the Falcons. I mean, about the Eagles right now, is that they see the line there and they're letting somebody come through and knock them off.
But for the Eagles' case, it was honestly themselves. They, put it frankly, they wouldn't run the ball. I don't understand with that old line. Like with them first 3 weeks, I said, "Oh, Swift might win." Offensive Player of the Year.
Swift because gets 3-4 yards a carry.
Like them first 3 weeks, Swift was getting 4 or 5 yards a carry, my boy. Whatever them first 2 games, I think it was second game, he got 5 yards a carry.
Cutting up
them first drives, and I was like, "Are y'all gonna stop him?" Because
it's The common denominator in this podcast episode has been brought to you by Run the Ball. Oh man. If you don't want the
I'm gonna
Chiefs
be
to win the
honest.
Super Bowl, you run the ball. If you want to get to the Super Bowl, you run the ball. If you want to do anything successful in the NFL, as I know it doesn't seem like they still do it, but guess what? Your most valuable asset in the NFL outside of the offensive line.
Like 21 said, run it.
Oh man. Shoot, we don't ran through everything, bro.
Yeah.
We ran through everything. And guess what? We're at an hour and 20 minutes.
Just like you like.
Just trying to get it to that point. Shoot. Anything else? Well, if you guys want to, sponsor an episode, if you want to sponsor an episode, please DM us on Instagram or hit us up on YouTube or whatnot. Hit us up on our personal pages. It is what it is. I'm gonna put all our personal information, not all our personal information, but I'm gonna put the stuff on the description as well as our at names on IG. I'm gonna put them in a bar below, and so you'll be able to see Josh's at name, and you're gonna see my at name, and we're gonna go from there. But topic of the day was, run the ball. Believe in Justin Fields. Run it. Shoot. No scapegoats. Let's see what else. Detroit versus Green Bay. I'm calling it.
I see it.
I'm going to call it. 2025. No, 2024, 2025, whatever. NFC Championship game. Because we already know one team's going to be there just to get you there to the NFC Championship game. We know the Cowboys are going to be they're going to get past the first round, and they're going to be in that second. They're going to be in the second round. And guess what?
Hey, look, I wouldn't be surprised if Cowboys went 500 this year.
Bro, they're internally they're having issues. Internally they're having issues.
I think I told y'all a couple years ago they're not going to win squat until Jerry get up at that thing, but
the only way Jerry can get out of that thing is Jerry get out of there. Get out. Yeah, he ain't leaving that. He wants a ring before he rolls.
He can get one as an owner.
Bro.
Step down, my boy. Just be an owner.
He can't do that, bro.
Just be an owner, and you might be just fine.
It's not in his blood, bro. Either he don't believe in his son to run it. Because his son
Steven done made plenty of good picks.
Bro, plenty of good picks. But for some
reason,
he drafted
Marca.
But for some reason, somebody got to go down there to the field and watch the game, or watch the practice, and hype up everybody.
Well.
Let's see what else. What else we got? Top quarterbacks, NFL draft options there. Don't be fooled by some players. Like somebody told me about Bo Nix. I don't like.
He's got a lot of experience,
bro. You know what? You know who also had a lot of experience? Sam Howell at Washington. Pickett,
Kenny,
Pittsburgh Steelers.
But I don't know.
Who else had a lot?
He played in the SEC, man.
And then he ran to the Pac-12, where everybody get drafted. Unlike Jaden Davis, who ran to the SEC, this boy ran away.
That's very surprising. He's one of the few cases I've ever seen. Well, Rattler ran to the SEC.
Yeah, Rattler ran to the SEC, and that's my. That's
your guy. I'm gonna have to watch his highlights a little bit, just see what he's on.
South Carolina was so terrible in a lot of situations where you're like, okay, where were they good at? The guy throwing the ball when he ain't got nobody blocking for him. He'll step up in the pocket, make something happen. And I'm letting you know, the Vikings, if you're looking for a guy to pick in the second, third, or fourth round, that's your guy. Because I heard he might fall, he might go up, but after the Senior Bowl, Bo was balling, and his receiver Leggett was balling.
You know what's crazy? I think they may draft him because I feel like they may. If Kirk doesn't stay, there's a smooth chance they stick with Nick Mullins, and he's gonna need a backup. So yeah,
Kirk Kirk is a guy who might end up falling himself. I can see Kirk do a few things. I know he wants to continue playing.
Kirk has a market, whether you realize it or not.
Kirk's going to keep him working. I can see Kirk being traded, or not being traded, but signing to a team like, let's say, I can see him signing to the Cardinals.
49ers.
Bro, if they do that again, bro, no. Because then,
hey, look, if they get Kirk with that team, maybe he starts throwing that pig around.
Maybe 2 negatives can make a positive. Because Kirk, he's a good dude, but he's Dak Prescott. And
I know he's Dak Prescott, but he's a slightly better Dak Prescott that doesn't run.
Kyle Shanahan's a good dude, but he can't make good plays in the Super Bowl. But those 2 negatives might be able to cancel out each other and end up getting a Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl. 2 negatives, you know what I'm saying? But anybody else to see? Anybody else on the docket? Anybody else? Russell Wilson. That was a long shot throw.
Pittsburgh, or I keep hearing Vegas.
That'll be interesting, bro. Because Vegas with that phone.
I want him to go somewhere and be successful because I feel like he has some good football. Sean Payton was just being a hoe.
I think so too. I like him in Atlanta.
Yeah,
I like him in Atlanta. Reason why is they got.
Wait, that's Raheem Morris. Yeah, baby.
Young receiving core.
Great receiving core.
But young.
Good receiving core.
You can build some stuff around him, whether you use him as a bridge or you use him or he gets you to the next.
He's
guy.
Definitely a bridge role, but I'm liking it somewhere. Okay, let's Russ to Atlanta. I'm with it right now. Let's do it.
Atlanta, let's say, and again, this all goes back to the
Take Sierra back home.
We might get another album.
We might get a Super Bowl.